Hey there, and happy today. Michelle Lee here, day 13 inside the Video Matrix, blasting past fear. Today is a fun topic. Perhaps you saw my video yesterday on what my favorite job was. Well, today I share with you what my least favorite job was. And I said yesterday, I've had a lot of different jobs, but my least favorite job that comes to mind is when I was 17 years old, and I worked at a hotel. It was the Tara Hotel, I think it was called. It was in Milford, Massachusetts. And I worked at this hotel, and I was a cleaner, and I only worked there on the weekends. And so, it was like my third job. I didn't even care. I went there in the mornings. I was out of there by like noon. I was there anyhow. But some of the people that I worked with, that was like the hardest part of the job. Like going in and out of rooms and cleaning, that's like one thing, but like having to deal with these, I don't even know. I had to just, and when I was 17, I probably didn't want to deal with anybody. So the fact that I deal with these girls that I work with were not my cup of tea. So I used to get strep throat when I was in high school and college all the time. Like every 3 months, I got strep throat. And so I just dealt with that. I was used to that. I would still work with that, believe it or not. Like I'd probably just go get medicine and just go to work. And it happened to be one of these days at the hotel, and I wasn't feeling good. I was starting, if I didn't start, it was the day of, if not, I didn't already have strep throat. And at that point in time, I wasn't caring about infecting anybody or anything like that. I cared about making money, and I just didn't care. Sound familiar to some of you? And anyhow, this one particular day, I just remember I was like hanging on to my car. I remember just like in the elevator with my car thinking, how am I going to get through this day and just make it happen? And so I'm in this one room, and I'm cleaning my rooms, right? Let me just get to the story. Cleaning my rooms, I get to this, I'm moving along. I'm getting to this one room, and I get to this room, and there's powder all over the place. Not like someone just like went like this, and it was like someone went like this with powder, and there was powder everywhere. And when I tell you, powder covered the bathroom floor, powder covered all over the rugs, powder everywhere. I just didn't feel like dealing with this. That wasn't the issue though. I walked into this room and I was like, oh. Anyhow, I start taking off the bedding, and you're supposed to, when you go to bring the bedding, I'm on the third floor, and you open up this chute and you put the bedding down. But before you put the bedding down, you're supposed to yell, heads up, down the chute, because someone might be reaching down to pick the laundry up on the other end. So you're supposed to yell, heads up. And this one particular day, I did it, but like I told you, my throat was hurting, strep throat was there, and I opened it up and I yelled heads up, but I don't think I could have yelled that loud, or they just didn't hear me. It was definitely one of the two. And I put the stuff down, and next thing you know, like I hear these girls like talking about me, and I'm the only one up there. It's like these girls and me. That's it. And then you take turns like going up there getting the laundry. Something along those lines. Anyhow, these girls, I could hear them, they just call me a bitch, right? What a bitch, they say about me. And I'm at this point where I'm like, yeah, I'm not dealing with this today. Not today. When you have that day, like, not today. That powder, not today. And these girls would steal tips. I'd come in every weekend, and you're telling me weeks would go by and nobody would leave me a tip, right? And then I would get told by like some other people, like, oh, those girls steal tips. So they're like stealing my tips. They're calling me a bitch. I'm just like, you know what? Today's the day. I'm just leaving this job. I'm going to walk out of this job, like literally just walk out. And my cart's out there and the door is open, which it looks like somebody's in there cleaning. That's just how it would look normally. Like if you've ever been to a hotel, there's a cart there, door open, you think the maid is in the bathroom or something, right? So I just did that. I just left everything there. It was later in the day. I didn't have all my rooms finished. I don't know how late. It was probably midday. And I just walked out. I left and never went back. And I laughed because, like, if to me it was laugh last was on them, like they call me names and then they get to deal with my work and take my tips and whatever else they want to do. Um, so that was my least favorite job, working at this hotel cleaning. And it's kind of funny because my other least favorite job was probably like when I was 16, a year and a half before that, I was a cleaner at a nursing home. And this nursing home, like I liked it. I liked the people that I got to be around, like the elderly folks, and they were so sweet and nice, and it was really interesting, especially at 16. I was really scared of old people then, so like observing them was like something I needed. um, but it was around the time when like AIDS was huge, and we had this lady who had AIDS in one of the rooms. She was like 53, I'll never forget it, amongst all these old people, because it was like a rehab center as well. And she had AIDS, and I'll never forget, like, one, being scared of AIDS, two, knowing nothing about it, three, having to go into this woman's room and clean and thinking I'm gonna get AIDS every single time I had to go in there. But then my heart told me to just treat her like a human, and like that always got the better part of me. But I'll never forget, always constantly like worrying that I was gonna get AIDS working at the job. But it wasn't my least favorite job, but that was probably like my least favorite feeling at a job, was that feeling. And so, yeah, that conducts my day 13. I would love to hear what your least favorite job was and why. What made it your least favorite job? I think, you know, I'm pretty sure mine is just my least favorite. And, jobs teach us all kinds of things. They teach us about ourselves, they teach us what we like, what we don't like, what we'll tolerate, what we won't tolerate. And there's a lot of lessons to be learned with every single job that we have, with every task that we do, and anything that we set forth on. You're always learning about yourself. So, yeah, that's it. I'd like to learn more about you, and I thank you for listening today. See you tomorrow for day 14.